fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. So for those that are new to the channel, my name's Sean, also known as Film Guru. I started this channel having my same particular movies and a variety of other film content, so thanks for joining me today. So it's that time of year once again, the top 10 films of this year that I really enjoyed. Certain films that started out on the list that aren't on the list anymore, but I think the movies that I did pick were the ones I really did enjoy the most. So without further ado, here's my top 10 for 2021. Number 10, Free Guy. Look, I enjoyed this film when I first saw it. I thought it was fun and entertaining. There was a lot of heart and a bit of profoundness to the film, and it really affected me. And I really got drawn into it. I loved the concept, the ideas. Ryan Reynolds was great. Jodie Comer was fantastic, finally getting a role that showed her what she's capable of, and I think she's brilliant in it. And it just had a really good message, the message over creativity and greed. That's why it's on my top 10, because I really enjoyed it. Number 9, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now, look, I know this film is technically the same movie, just with him coming in and making the movie he wanted to, but to me it's a completely different film. It's very powerful and profound. It's darker. It's definitely the film that Snyder wanted to make and the story he really wanted to tell. And I just think he encapsulated this superhero stuff very well in this film. It was just fantastic to watch. All the characters were great. The way he evolved certain things and changed things was really fantastic, and it just felt like it was the film it should have been. Not the one that we got, but the one we really needed. Number 8, Val. I don't usually put documentaries on my top 10 list, but this, I couldn't help but do that with this film. I thought it was really well done. Val Kilmer's very fantastic in it, and it's sort of, it's very personal for him. It's profound and powerful, and it just sort of shows this once great actor who goes through this journey of self-discovery after being diagnosed with cancer, and the effect that it has on him, and how he comes through the other side completely changed and evolved, and really becomes the person he's always wanted to be. He's so raw in this documentary, and he tells it how it is, and he experiences, he tells about his experiences. A lot of home movies that he made. It's about things that happened to him that sort of shaped him into the person he is. And how the cancer really affected him and his family, and the way the world saw him. And I just thought this was really, really, really brilliant documentary, and absolutely deserves to be on the top 10. Number 7, Taylor Sheridan's Those Who Wish Me Dead. I think Taylor Sheridan's a fantastic filmmaker and writer, and I think he crafted a really great and fun little thriller film. I think Angelina Jolie's great in it, best role she'd had in a long time. I think she does a fantastic job. I just like the simplicity of it. I like the characters we're introduced to, and this sort of world, and the firefighting world that I didn't know much about. And it really looked at the fire jumpers, as they call these firefighters who parachute into these dangerous places to help people and to stop fires from engulfing towns and cities. And I think Sheridan captured that really, really well. It's a world that I hadn't really seen before, and I loved the way that he portrayed it on screen, and we got to see it. And this film really stuck with me long after I saw it, and I just thought it was really well done. Number 6, Annette. I'm a huge lover of French cinema, and I just thought this was so original and unique. The most original musical I've seen since probably Lars von Trier's Dancer in the Dark. Both the performances by Driver and Collier are fantastic. I like the originality in it. The music's great, the songs are great, the set design is fantastic. Just the way that this director orchestrated this and put it together. Leos Carax is just fantastic, and I was just really impressed by this movie. The use of puppetry and the way that things shift and change, the characters we're introduced to, the tragedy of the whole thing, the violence. It encompassed so much of what it is to be a human being, I guess, and the darker side of life. And it did it in a really fantastic musical way, and I was really impressed by it, hence why it's on my list. Number 5, Halloween Kills. Look, I know a lot of people didn't like this film. I just thought it was fantastic. I think it evolved the Michael Myers storyline. I'm a huge fan of the original Halloween. It's my favorite horror film of all time. And I really like what this new film has done. I like that it sort of evolved Michael Myers into taking him from being a man and turning him to the actual boogeyman, an unstoppable force. Like Laurie Strode says, the more he kills, the more he transcends. And he really does. He transcends into something that's unstoppable. It is on a mythical level. And he's something that he is pure evil and darkness. And I love the portrayal here of Michael Myers and what they did with that character. I love all the flashback stuff where we get to see the events of what happened in the original film in a way. And then we get to see Loomis once again. Dr. Loomis appears, played by a different actor, but the actor gives such a great performance and is a great homage to Donald Pleasence that I thought all of that with the evolving Michael Myers was just great. And I like the creativity of the kill scenes or the death scenes in the movie as well. I think the director's done a fantastic job, and I was really impressed with this. One of the best horror films I've seen in a while. And I just was glued to this, and it just blew me away. Number 4, big sci-fi space epic, Dune. Like I said in my review of Dune, it's taken him a long time to get this movie made. Villeneuve has really crafted something really fantastic here. He was really inspired by 2001, and you can see that visually anyway. He takes this book, this known classic sci-fi book, and he simplifies it in a way. He still encompasses everything that you need to know about the story and the characters in the world, but he does it in a simpler way that modern audiences can follow. That I think is just fantastic. Timothée Chalamet, like I said, is brilliant. One of his best performances so far in his career. All the cast do a great job, and I look forward to the second part of it. But I was really impressed with this. It blew me away. It was big, it was epic, but it was also fun. It was reminiscent of Star Wars, the early Star Wars films, and a variety of other entertaining sci-fi movies. And I think he really captured something really fantastic here. Number 3, No Time to Die. Now, I have enjoyed pretty much all of the Daniel Craig films. Quantum of Solace, not so much. But I loved how it was a storyline that connected all the movies together with this really fantastic conclusion. That had a really great villain, painted by Rami Malek. And it really took Bond in a different direction. And we got to see a side of Bond that we hadn't seen before, that they sort of touched on a little bit on Her Majesty's Service, the Lazenby film that we got in the 60s. This sort of was reminiscent of that. I just like what they did with Bond here. Daniel Craig looks fantastic in it and does a really great job as Bond. I like he's sort of older and gruffer, but there's a sensitivity to him. There's a softness that we've never seen before that's always been guarded. He's always had a guard up his whole time within the agency, that this film sort of pulled that guard down and we got to see something we hadn't seen before. I felt it was a very original concept. And it took a big chance. I thought it was a very daring film. Did something quite unexpected. And it felt like it was trying to do something different within the Bond world and change up the Bond movies that we all know. And I think the director did a fantastic job with this movie. It's a very confrontational ending, but I think it serves a purpose to the movie. And I just thought it was well put together, well shot. The action sequences were great. Just overall, it was a really fantastic film, and I was really impressed by it. Number 2, Pig. For so long, this film was number 1. I just was blown away by this film. Not only Nicolas Cage's performance, the idea it's really about grief and loss, and how to come to terms with that and how to navigate that and the power of that. And there's a positive within that sort of loss that you can, if you can get through the other side, is really profound. And this film had a profoundness to it. It had characters you cared about, situations they were in they couldn't control. And Nicolas Cage's character was just so great to watch. This one great man who lost everything and how he's trying to find his way back in the world. And it just showed behind the curtain of this world he was part of that he no longer is. And trying to come to terms with everything that happened to him. I was so impressed with this film. It just was so well done. I loved it on every level. The writing, the directing, the acting, the atmosphere, the feel, the look. Just everything about this film was really, really brilliant. And like I said, until I saw this other film that became number 1, this was my number 1 film of the year, because I just felt it was so powerful but simple. Okay, my number 1 film of the year, The Matrix Resurrections. When I heard they were doing a sequel to the original Matrix trilogy, didn't know what to expect. I knew Lana was directing, and I've become a big fan of her work outside of her and her sister, the movies that they did in the 90s and early 2000s. And she's just coming out showing the skill of her as a filmmaker and what she wanted to say. And this film really is a love letter to her parents. And she did it as a way to grieve the loss of her parents. And that Neo and Trinity represented her parents. And within that Matrix world, they still existed. And it was like her pouring into what she felt and trying to deal with that loss. And I think she's crafted a really fantastic film. Like the reviews have shown, you either like this film or you don't, and I'm definitely in the group that really liked it. It was fantastic to see Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss back in the roles that really cemented them in cinema history and really made them stars. And it felt like neither of them had really missed a step. It just felt like they'd just come back to these characters once again and inhabited them in such a great way. I really like the world we're introduced to in this one, how she evolved the technology and the ability to go from place to place, and certain things that she added was absolutely fantastic, and it really evolved it. But she also really evolved this film into something unique and different. She encapsulated the original films, but she evolved this into some powerful and profound movie that sort of took what we've known from The Matrix and just changed it a little or pushed it into a different direction. And I think she's done a fantastic job with this. Visually, it's great. The action's great. I love all the sequences in it, the conversation pieces. I love all the new characters, especially the Bugs character, who's fantastic, and the involvement of her. Each one of the new characters is sort of unique and different in a way. And I kind of like that. It felt like you could connect more to these characters. And these other characters that reappear, which I thought was great. I like what they did with the Morpheus concept and the way they evolved that. I really like this idea that what Neo experienced, he felt wasn't real, and what they do with that and who he is within that world. He's Thomas Anderson once again, but an evolved version, a different version. And it's like he's being controlled in that, and when he sort of is awakened again, that's when the film really takes off. But there's just something about the Matrix movies for me lately. Revisiting them and seeing the new one, there's just something about that world. There's so much more I'm getting out of these films that I never got out of them before. The spiritual element, the aspect of finding one's purpose and trying to become what you want to become or feel you need to become. And I just was really blown away by this movie. I didn't expect it to enjoy it as much as I did. I thought it would be good, but this is above and beyond my expectations, and I was really happy that she was able to push it in such a great direction. And I just felt it was a really great fitting conclusion to the whole Matrix films. That's why it became my #1 film of the year. In this world we live in, with everything happening, it just feels like it's important to have a film that has something to say but is also entertaining. And it also feels like a film that they want you're sort of more of a participant than a watcher. It feels like you want to be part of that. You want to be in the Matrix, or you want to be in the real world and be part of this group. And you want to feel like what you're doing is important. And I think this film is very powerful and important in that way. And I was really impressed with it, hence why it's on my top 10. And I'd give it 5 out of 5. So that's it. That's my top 10 of the year. So in the comments below, let me know what you think, whether you agree or disagree with my choices. But these are the films that I felt impacted by most, entertained by, and just felt they were really important for the year. And I just had a fun time with them. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit subscribe at the bottom. Follow me on Facebook and Letterboxd. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.